Okay, basically Storm as a company started in 1991. Bill Chrisman, 180 average bowler at the time himself, got in the market by starting with React-A-Clean, which was actually he started with U-Clean U-Score. The first product he ever made was a ball cleaning solution, and also made React-A-Clean. That was a resin ball cleaning solution. Those were the first two products he made. From there, he basically figured he needed to make bowling balls. So with about $50,000 and some help from some guys that said they knew what they were doing as far as manufacturing, they started Storm. And the first ball they produced was the Teal Storm, which was the first resin ball released about 6 months ahead of the Excalibur. And that ball won 2 senior titles in the time it was out. Pretty much went unnoticed in the industry, though, because Storm was so small. Other manufacturers definitely noticed. Some of the manufacturers went to our resin supplier to get their resin or tried to get it from them. And so back in 91, people started knowing what resin was. 92, just about everybody had a clue as to what it was and were starting to produce their balls. Storm's had about 9 balls right now produced in their line. It started with the Teal Storm, then we made the Blue Storm. The Teal was a 2-piece resin ball, very even rolling, powerfully hitting, but not a lot of hook. The Blue Pearl was a 3-piece ball, and went a little longer down the lane and hooked a little more on the back end than the Teal did. And we just did end up discontinuing that from manufacturing, so that ball lasted 5 years. The Teal's still in manufacturing right now. We still feel it's a competitive piece of equipment on the market when the lanes are a little bit drier. Most of the resin balls have been designed to hook a lot more than that since we designed the Teal. We followed the Blue Pearl up with the Yellow Sun Storm, which was probably the first ball to get us noticed by a lot of people, mainly because of the color. It wasn't a great ball, also due to the color. It was hard to read the reaction of the ball when it went down the lane, but it was also very, very noticeable when a yellow ball went 60 feet down the lane. People saw it. So then probably our best ball to the point was the Red Sun, which came out right after the yellow, and is still in production. Still one of my tour guys' favorite balls, one of our best all-around balls as far as controllability and just overall performance. And that was another 2-piece ball, medium flare, and didn't really get that much notice out on the tour or in the retail market. It really went unnoticed, but it's, again, I have more guys now come out and ask me for that ball than some of our new ones out. George Branham made the TV show 3 times with the Red Sun, finished second in Cleveland, so definitely a good product. Then after that, probably when all the fireworks, so to say, started, we came out with the Firestorm in 1994, and 1995, and we released the Firestorm in January of 95, and we also released the electrical with that. And that ball was just, it started slow momentum gaining on the tour. Guys were still unsure of the products, and at that point I joined the company and started repping on the tour and getting the ball out to the good bowlers. And eventually enough of the good bowlers started seeing that ball go down the lane and the reaction that it had, they started throwing it. We had Dennis Horan make the first TV show with it at the Tournament of Champions. Had a couple of really good games and probably should have gone on to keep winning that event, but got beat by Patrick Healy, an amateur in the tournament at the time. So from then on, that Firestorm really started rolling for us. We had John Handegard and another player used it at the Senior Masters that month, and Rich Wolf also used it that fall on tour. Really helped our sales a lot, and that ball, probably shelf life, has had the longest shelf life of any resin ball out in the industry right now. I don't know of any other companies that have got a ball that is still selling in the top selling ranges that was released in 1995. They're basically balls are going 3 to 4 months and they're shelving them for a new product. And that goes back a lot to the philosophy of Storm products, where we feel like the 8 balls that we carry in our line are all top quality products. We cover the full price range and reaction, and we just don't believe in making new products for the sake of making them. We want to fill a void in our line or in the industry when we design a product. So we're not in the game of flooding the market with new products. We want people to become familiar with what our products are and where they fit in the line of Storm balls, because they do all perform differently. And even though some balls are only $99, they're still great balls, and they're going to knock as many pins down as the $200 balls that are out today. So, you know, that's really what I feel has been our strong point in the industry in the last years, just to stay firm with what we're designing. And you know, we're going to release about 2 high-performance balls a year, and 1, maybe 2 on the lower performance, better price range balls. But you know, no more than that. Bowlers don't need more than that. And until we see something that we don't have or we can't create, or that is beating us repetitively, we're not going to just start flooding the market. So research and development, basically we evaluate our line, we do look at what's working well against us on the tour, and you know, what bowlers are buying, and if we feel like we're missing in that area, we'll design to fill that area, but it always stays within our line so that it fits well within our line. And when a storm product comes out, we'll tell our customers where this fits in relation to what they already own as far as storm products. So they know when they go and buy the next storm ball what it should do compared to that last storm ball they bought. And we're not duplicating anything. You know, we're not trying to sell somebody something that they already own with a storm label on it. So research and development on the weight blocks, you know, Bill Chrisman is one of the main forces behind that. We try to keep our designs simple so that production-wise they're easier to produce, and ball drilling-wise they're easier to map out. And that's also helped us a lot. You know, we haven't made anything that's too complicated and too scary to drill, and you can drill the storms in just about any different kind of layout and get a pretty proven reaction out of it. If you like a leverage layout, you're going to get a leverage-like reaction out of a storm, and if you like something closer to your axis for even roll, you're going to get that, and you're able to drill that without fearing too many bad things happening, like flaring on the holes or wobbling down the lane or anything. When we're testing a ball, we just did install 2 test lanes in our facility up in Brigham City, so now we can drill them and test them right there at the plant. We've got a wood lane and a synthetic lane, and we're starting to do a lot more testing right there. You know, prior to that, and being a small company, we'd have an idea, and we'd do some hand pours of the idea, and then we'd drill them up and just go to our local bowling centers here in the Salt Lake area and walk in the door and bowl with them on the house condition. And you know, that's what the bowlers that are going to do that buy our ball, is they're going to walk into the pro shop and get it drilled and go out on the house condition and bowl. So, you know, if it performs well or performs how we designed it, you know, on a hole, if you go to 5 different bowling alleys, the ball will work really well in one and okay in 2 and not so good in one and terrible in another. But the point is, we want to find out, is it doing what we said it's going to do? You know, that's important when you release a ball or you make a ball. You tell people this is really going to hook and oil. It really does need to hook and oil. It can't just be hype. And I think it's still one of the best ways to test it. You know, we do a testing with our tour guys. We'll send 2 different shells with 4 different block combinations in them out on tour to see what we like. And you know, no final decision is made off of one test. It's just a cumulative effort and a cumulative feedback from all the employees in the company on, you know, do we feel like we've got a good ball? It's got to be a good product, and it's got to do what we're designing it to do. And then, you know, from there you just cross your fingers and hope that it works out. It's never really proven in your mind till you have a lot of people come back and tell you it's a good ball. You know, that's the hardest thing probably about the job, is knowing, you know, is that a good product, and is that something that people want? So, tour repping, it's been my job for the last 1.5 years, basically to work with our pro bowlers on tour, bowlers like Dennis Horan and Lenny Blakey and George Branham, Jimmy Johnson. It's really a lot of fun. It's very similar to being maybe a caddy if you understand golfing. It's not carrying their clubs, but it's telling them what club to hit at what time, and you know, it's also a lot of working with their psychological state when they're out there bowling, you know, keeping them relaxed or getting them pumped up, or, you know, either way, it's half psychology and it's half equipment knowledge, and, you know, it's a lot of chemistry between a tour rep and a player to have a good combination, but it does make a big difference. You know, 2 sets of eyes watching a bowler is way more beneficiary, and most bowlers can't even tell you what their ball's doing in the first 30 feet of the lane. They depend on their tour rep to help line them up. So there's only about 5 or 6 tour reps in the country, because there's only 5 or 6 manufacturers. it's a rare job, and pretty glad to have it myself. Enjoyed it, and just trying to help Storm get to the top. I really feel, Storm it's a small company, and one of the best things about it is we can change our direction quickly if we need to. It's not a big boat. If we need to change courses, we're gonna. I think if we get scooped in the industry on a new shell or new weight block, or just overall better performance, it's not going to take us long to catch up. We're all open-minded. We're all good bowlers. None of us are stubborn, and try not to let our egos get in the way of designing bowling balls. Just let the ball reactions that we see tell us. In the future, I feel like Storm we're going to be one of the top 3, I hope. And at this point now, we're doubling in size every year. If you live on the West Coast, you've definitely heard of us, and on the East Coast, you've started to hear about it. And in the next 3 years, I hope to see Storm right up there with Columbia and Brunswick in ball sales. And if that's so, then we'll all be very happy with it. So we're going to introduce a lot more products into the Storm line, accessory products, ball plug. We're going to try to diversify a little bit that way and still concentrate, hard on making good bowling equipment. We don't want to let that suffer. So, but I really look for Storm to become a major player in the ball industry. And we don't make bowling machines, and we don't make lanes, and we don't sell automatic scores. We make bowling balls. So we're going to do that the best we can, and let everybody else chase us, hopefully. Which we feel like the industry honestly has had a lot of swings generated by us. The resin ball, we feel we were the first ones with that, and phasing in a ball, which is the smoky effects you see in our Firestorm and our Forest Fire, is starting to be duplicated by some other companies. And that gives each ball a very individual look. No Firestorm or Forest Fire ever looks exactly the same as another, and people like that, and other companies are picking up on it. So hopefully the top, that's where I hope Storm's headed, and beyond. So